Hello everyone, welcome to the concluding part of our egg production or our egg record. So I want to believe this video is going to be the last I'm going to do concerning this egg record. Before we proceed, I think I have a concern with this negative. I have a concern with this negative, so we need to make a few adjustments. Okay, let me try to explain to you how this amortization per egg is being computed. So based on the template, there is something here called standard cost. There is standard cost there, which is the cost adjustment per bed, which is 5,000 multiplied by the quantity, 5,000 multiplied by the quantity. Whatever you get, then you deduct it from the batch valuation. Let me go back again. So you multiply this, which is this 5,000. You multiply this 5,000 by the quantity on each row, by this quantity on each row, then the results you get, you subtract it from your batch valuation. So looking at that, we have our batch valuation to be 150,000. So this value is actually not realistic. It is unrealistic, so that's why we're having negative. Then after whatever you get, then you divide it by the total egg production. So you divide it by the total egg production. At the end of the day, you are supposed to get the amortized cost per egg, the amortization per egg. So you are supposed to get it. So what I'll do is just to have a negative value, I'll just try to hold on. I'll do this back to let's put this to 15. Let's put that on 150. Okay, let's just leave it like that, 15 million. I hope this will not give us that. I think we are using batch 21, breeder 21. Then what else? We have to select this, then select this and regenerate this. So let me just check this. Okay, so let's see. We still have, hold on. I want to believe. Oh, let me change. Let me just put it on 150 million. Let's put that on 150. Did I change something? How come it's looking different? Okay, so let me put this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Do this. Let me change this. Generate this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so it's looking, yeah, so this looks more realistic than that. So anyway, so I have this value now. So if you compute this, just do 5,000 multiplied by this, 5,000 multiplied by this. Whatever you get as a result, deduct it from here. This was based on what is on the template sent. deduct it from here. So whatever value you get here, after that, divide it by this. So you will get whatever you get is going to be based on this. This is what you are going to get. You're going to get something like this. Now to get this, it is now this multiplied by this to give us this. This is your amortization per production. So let's just quickly go down to our egg production. So this is for our amortization. Let me just save this. This is being saved already. Now let me come here. So this is the real deal for today. Now we are going to pick so you remember all these are just more like setup. They are predefined, so you need to define all these. So this might be coming from a senior person within the organization to do. Why this will be like the data capturers, what they should be concerned about is the quantity of eggs, which one is settable and which one is not settable. So at the end of this, the system should automatically give them what's it called, the cost on. So if I decide, if I'm an end user or a farmer, I can just come here and pick let's say the transaction is done as of today, then the time I can just give today's time there. Then this is the batch collected from. Where is the batch being collected from? So remember, it has to be a batch that has the forecast defined already. So I'm picking that. Then we need to give a location. We also need to know the location that this breeder, this batch is. Let's just pick, let me just assume this. So I've picked one. Let's say then I pick the forecast. So this is the forecast we just did. Now I will explain each of these. Let me try to save. Okay, I won't be able to save because I still need to put this. Now you know, as the eggs are producing, or every day you need to give feeds, you need to give them feeds, you need to give them medications and all that. So all those expenses that is being done will not be going directly into the developmental cost again. It will be going to your work in progress. So the work in progress GL account is what is being picked here, and that's why you can see it streamlined to this area. So picking this, now it is also important that at this level, based on the batch that you have picked here, this particular GL account must have transactions into it. So these transactions and also the batch, you remember when you go to the batch GL, you can analyze your GL account by batch. So those batches that are being picked at that level, so if you are not posting into a particular batch, then you won't be able to get any value as at this level. That's what it means. So that is why I said there are some controls you cannot do without. So for every transaction that is being posted, it is important that you pick their respective what's it called, batch. So there is batch level, there is batch analysis level at GL, and there is also batch analysis on the inventory. You understand? So at point of you posting your transactions, like let's say you give transports on a particular batch and all that, it means that when you are posting to that GL account, you need to specify the batch that should be affected. If you don't, it's not going to reflect here. So based on this sample, we've not done anything, but I'm going to do one. Let's just let's pick this. Let's say this transaction is at this date, and what else? So I'm going to do a transaction. This transaction is just going to be it's going to be a journal entry transaction. So like now, if I click here, save now, Okay, I'll come back here. So it's asking me that I need to also specify, I need to select um, the settable eggs and all that. Okay, so a lot of things needs to be done here, so I'm not going to use this again, so because which means there are going to be a lot of, so because you need to create the batch, you need to create a transaction that affect this as well. So I have one that I've tested already, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick this batch 20. Yes, this particular batch. So I'll pick the forecast here, so you can see this forecast is here. Then I'll pick the batch location, I think is main layer. So then what else? I think I picked this the other time. Okay, so then now the settable hex. So all your settable hex also must be defined as a batch, so you need to define them as a batch within the system. So you must have created all your settable hex, because you also track them by batch. So you also need to set them by batch also at the, but this setup for this might be a little bit different, but let me just show you something. It is also important that when you are setting up your settable egg batch or non-settable egg batch, you have to specify this is a batch. You don't need to specify that it is a biological asset. You need to attach it to its parent batch. It is important. Attach it to its parent batch, because we want to know which batch produce this particular what's it called, which batch produce this particular egg. So we also need to specify that at this level. Then what else? We also need to set up that this particular batch you are creating, it is a non-settable egg. So there are two categories of settable egg and non-settable egg. So you need to specify, because that is what is going to be here. If it is not done like that, you are not going to see it drop down here. So it is important for you to pick that as well and set that properly, so that you can pick where it belongs to. Now okay, for batch 2 you do the same thing. So I'll just pick this. You see that their batches are not the same. Now for settable eggs, how many eggs am I collecting for settable eggs? Let's say this is 3,000. I'm collecting 3,000 eggs. Now so at the point of collecting it, keeping records, you need to specify the hatchery it's going to. So I'll pick the main hatchery, that is where it will go to. So automatically doing this, it means that it is transferring to hatchery already. That's what it means. Then you will see at this point as well, now the sales location for non-settable eggs. So non-settable eggs location. Then how many non-settable eggs do we have? Now note something as well. So if I do, let's say non-settable eggs that are collected is just 500, right? I'll just do 500. Then what else? Then pick your cost center. Pick my cost center. Maybe that will be made mandatory. Then I just save. Now all necessary computation, the system is going to do it for you. I'll just click on save. Now the system has also specified, look at this point, it has set the egg, it has given you the cost of the egg. Look at the cost of the egg, that is for settable egg. And where is this coming from? This is coming from as a result of all these things that we have done here. Look at this, is also an element, which is the forecast that we did earlier. So the forecast that we did earlier is also going to specify what kind of egg or what kind of cost it is. You understand? So that is the essence of that. So what else? If I come here, let's say I come down here. I come down here to, let's say, non-settable eggs as well. Non-settable eggs also will show you the cost. Now the cost of non-settable eggs computation is different. This non-cost settable eggs will give you, if you look here, look under your more info, sorry, you will see this is 30,000, this 30 30 pieces at 500. So based on that, it's going to give you this. Going to give you this. Now look at something here as well. If you look at this also as well, you will see that amortization per egg is not being computed. This is supposed to be computed. You can see this is from egg forecast. Now why is this not computing? This is as a result that the date we have selected here does not have any value here. Let me just go back, which is our forecast. The forecast that was done here is for 2025. So let's say I pick this. Let's say this is it. The forecast that was done here was just for period 2025. So that is why that is not. So if I want just for this training purpose, so I'll change this to 2025. I'll just pick, because we don't have anyone that has been set up for 2025, so I'll just pick a date in 2025. Let's say I'll pick December. Just let me say December 2025. So, and I save this now. So at point of picking it, you would see that it has set up. So it's going to look at that forecast that you have selected, that what is the amortization per egg at that point in time. So that is why you have all this there. So that is why, and if you check, you are going to see that it's going to be correct with whatever value you are looking out for. Now I can just explain this. This is still based on Dainty Farms what's it called, template or forecast that is being shared. So it is expected that every user or every employee of Dainty Farms should understand the template before coming to the system. That is what it means. So then this is what is going to happen. This is the cost. This is the age of the batch. No, sorry, this is the quantity on this particular location. This is the total eggs collected. Remember, we did settable eggs to be 3,000, non-settable eggs to be 500. So that is why we have this value here. You understand? Now, I've also made it simpler. I've made it simpler here. Look at this amortization cost, AMC. So every of the costs or element that is created here has an abbreviation to it so that it is easily understood. So this is from your egg forecast. So if I go to this date, this is 25/12/2025. For this, I think I opened it the other time. Yes, this is it. So let's look for that date. What's the date again? 25/12/2025. So let's look for 25/12. Let's say 25/12/2025. This is it. If I come here, so this is amortization per production 1/8. So this is it. This is the amortization per production. So this is it, 188,151. So that's what you have there. So this is the amortization per egg. I come here to say this is the amortization per egg. You understand? So that's about that. So if you look at, you keep looking at it. Let's look at it now. How is the total cost gotten? It is amortization cost plus work in progress. Now the work in progress, because of the dates that is being selected, so it's going to look for the value. So the system will give you the value of this particular batch that is being selected here. Look at it here. So if you go and check your GL, your ledger account, filter by this particular batch, this is the value you are going to get at that point in time. based on the date you have selected. So please note, date is another criteria that is, so any transaction that falls up till 25/12, that is what is going to compute it. So if you have any transactions that falls under, let's say 26/12/2025, and you filter your transactions based on this what's it called, this batch, you are not going to see that value included here. So which means your WIP should be 0 before you want to do your production, or you must understand what has been posted there before you can come and do this. So it is important that you note that your production, I'm talking about the accountant now, so that the accountant can know the implication of what is being done, because that is what the farm guys are going to use for their home production. So if the finance guys or the account department have not posted correctly, which means whatever thing that is being computed here will never be correct. So this is a control that cannot be changed. Please take note of that. The farm guys don't need to compute anything. They only need to put in whatever cost. They only need to put in the quantity and what location they are taking it into, and that is all. So whatever thing that is being produced here, or whatever cost that is being consumed here, is as a result of what is being posted at finance end. But yes, there's still another room to add additional cost. Maybe within the period there is a kind of cost that is not included here and it is needed. Let's say some kind of overhead costs, maybe salaries and all that. If it is within the same transaction period and you want this production to consume it, then it is an optional field, so it can be imputed. But if it is an optional field. If it is not used, it can be left blank. So the system, what will the system do? It's going to take the work in progress value plus the additional cost, you understand, to get its total cost. That's what it's going to do. Then this is the total X collected. Then this is the value on the work in progress based on the batch selected. Then this is the cost center and all that. Then you can also see the percentage in collection, which is for settable X, it is 85.71%. And so you can see, so we try to put the formula there so it is easier for you to also understand and maybe query the system with. So that's about that. So if I go here as well, I'll see details, more details about it, and that's all. So at every point in time when you are done, it is for you to submit. So when you are submitting, it automatically creates a stock entry for it. That is, it needs to update the stock. So it will create a stock entry as a draft. So somebody needs to confirm if the values are actually correct and what is being needed there. So if I just do this and say submit and say yes. Yeah. So now the system has automatically created a stock entry. You can see it has created. So it's going to create two stock entries because some transaction, one is going for sales while the other one is going for hatchery. So two stock entry documents are going to be created. So this is it. This is one of the documents. This is the second document. So if I click this to say open a new feed, you would see what is happening here. So this is the cost. This is a transaction that is being done on it. So it's very straightforward. So the same thing too, if I decide to check that of the settable X, You can see main archery. So this is being done. So it's as simple and it's as straightforward as that. So thank you very much, and join me for the next session. Bye.